Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Time for another movie review. This is My Friend Dahmer. So, not probably heard of a lot. Again, I don't know how I find these films, but it seems interesting. It's about Jeffrey Dahmer when he's in high school. So it should be, if you know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, serial killer, mass murderer, or whatever, I don't know what the term is right, but he killed a lot of people, made them a lot of zombies and everything. It's very notorious. But this is him in high school. It stars Alex Wolff, who was just in Jumanji. He was the young Spencer, so he grows up to be the Rock in that movie. That's where I recognize him from. Anne Heche, seen her in a lot of different films. She's in this. And the critics at Rotten Tomatoes have this at 83%, so that sounds pretty good. Audience at 77. IMDb only has it at a 6.7, so they're not liking it too much. But Ross Lynch, I don't think I know him. He's the one who plays Jeffrey Dahmer in this. So I'm excited to see what this is about. I've been waiting for it for a while. It's finally available for us. So I'm going to do a quick review. I'll do some check-ins, let you know how it's going, and give you, my thoughts on it. Hopefully it's a good one, and well, I don't know. We'll find out. Stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody. Let's do a quick check-in here. We're watching My Friend Dahmer. We're at the 1 hour and 55-second mark. And we've learned a lot. So first of all, this movie is based on a graphic novel that was written by one of his friends in high school. So, from everything that I've researched, this is as accurate as they can get about his high school years. And you're seeing a lot of the tendencies that, if you've learned a little bit, Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer, cannibal, rapist, one of the nastiest people around. I believe it was like 17 boys or something like that. Whatever, from 1978 to 1991 he was on his killing spree. But this isn't a slasher film. It's not about that. It's just showing how he was in high school, which led to what he did as he got older. And real quick, I said, when I was saying who the cast was, Ross Lynch. I was like, yeah, I don't think I know. I do know. I didn't realize until I saw him on the big screen. When I look at him on my phone, I didn't recognize him. But he's Austin and Ally. He's Austin from Austin and Ally, and I think he's doing a great job. I've only ever seen him in that, or those types of roles, or those Disney roles. And now here he is playing Jeffrey Dahmer, a serial killer. That's pretty good, and I think he's doing a great job. You could sometimes hardly tell it's not him. He has his hair a little bit different, but he doesn't act, he's got some range here. At least, he can be a kid Nickelodeon or Disney star and a serial killer. So I thought that was interesting. Some of the other things that I want to call out that is happening. This is happening in the late 70s, and they're filming a lot of it in Akron, Ohio, which is where he grew up, which makes it interesting. His mother, they talk about his mother, they show them, and that's who's Anne Heche is playing his mother. She was recently released out of a mental institution. They allude to the fact that she saw a UFO and started chasing it down the street. So there is some, at least according to this movie, there's some history of mental health issues within the Dahmer family. Meanwhile, his dad is trying to get him more involved socially. So wants him to find friends, wants him to join a sports team. Not just he's on tennis. He wants him to be involved with teens so he gets more friends, getting him weights to lift and stuff like that. And that's going on. He's actually met friends. So he was a loner at the beginning, and he starts meeting some friends because they think he starts goofing off and they like it. So that's what's happening. Meanwhile, in the background, you see him, watching a jogger run. Which I believe is his first victim. They're not showing that kind of stuff, but he's watching a jogger run by his house very often. And he's obsessed with roadkill. The animals that have been hit by cars and finding out what's on the inside. Starting to drink a little bit. But you can see all of it coming out. Of how he comes out in the future. So the film itself is a little slow going. Again, it's not an action or a slasher flick or a horror flick in any way. It's more of a mockumentary, documentary kind of thing, you know what I mean? A dramatization of his life. So, and it's really trying to, I think, stick to the real situation or the real things that happened when he was in high school. So, it makes it a little bit slow at times, but it's still interesting to see, how this all came about, and if it is true or most of it's true, like what really led him to what he has become. So, anyway, that was a pretty big check-in. So, I'll get back to it a little bit more. Maybe I'll do another check-in, maybe not. Like I said, we're at the hour mark. It's only an hour and 47 minutes, so we're almost over. Well, we're over the halfway part. So, but if something interesting happens, I'll stop in. If not, I'll see you at the credits. All right? Thanks. Okay, we're at the credits of My Friend Dahmer. Not a whole lot more to share with you. I think maybe some of the things I left out. The way he got his friends. He was acting handicapped and was making a joke of it, and a lot of people thought it was funny. And so these friends invite him into their group, and they create the Dahmer fan club, where basically they're having him do pranks and what they call spazzing out, so they can get a laugh at him. So they kind of use him for that, and that kind of comes out, and that impacts him, I think, a little bit. His mother and father eventually get a divorce, so that continues his downward spiral. Out of the, into what he becomes. But, I mean, the acting was really good. Like I said, Ross Lynch was great. And you think about it, he doesn't have that many lines in the film. But when he does, I think he does a good job. But I think most of it is his nonverbal skills. I mean, the way he just stood and walked, and, his facial expressions and stuff like that. And when he did speak, the way he spoke, I thought it was really good. I don't know Jeffrey Dahmer, but I mean, you could see the strangeness that he brought out in this character, so I like that. One thing about this film is, as I mentioned, it's slow and it's very melancholy, and it kind of wears on you. Although it's only an hour and 47 minutes long, it feels longer because of the way the story's told, and it's not a lot of action. So, like I said, very slow. And at first, at least on the first check-in, didn't mind so much. But at the end, the last 30, 45 minutes, it really, wears on you enough that it's like, ugh, when is this going to be over? And he creates uncomfortable situations, when he's talking to people, because he's so creepy, you know what he's about. And so it kind of makes you, just get over, or, get the scene over with, those kinds of things. So, beware of that it does slow down. I mean, slow the whole time, but somewhat interesting, but it wears on you a little bit, and the melancholy really takes its toll, so it makes you want the film to be over. But then the last 10 or 12 minutes are very chilling. And again, there's no murders or anything like that on this, but they're very chilling last 10 to 12 minutes. So, if you wait it out, it's I hate to say the word rewarding, but, after you're watching a slow film and you get a little bit, better at the end, I thought that made it a little bit better. So, I mean, I think, overall, it was an interesting film. It's hard to say a good film when you're watching something about a serial killer. And they're trying to humanize him in a certain way, but very telling if you know anything about him. I thought this was like a decent way to come out and tell you his background. So I want to give it a 7, but again, I hate to reward films like that are based on bad things like this. But in the end, you got to focus on the film in this case and the story that was told, and I found it interesting, although slow. Worth the watch for me. So if that's the type of film that you're into, I'd urge you to check it out. If you have any interest in the background of Jeffrey Dahmer, check this one out. If you're not interested in that, and you don't like films that drag on, stay away from this one. That's my recommendation to you. So either way, let me know what you do. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you're interested in Ross Lynch, I think he did phenomenal. It was great. But yeah, I mean, that's all I have for this one. If you watch it, let me know what you think. Love to hear from you. Even if you don't, love to hear comments. Love feedback, good and positive. So that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.